What up, Laker Nation? It's your boy Doc Kareem. I want talk about the media real quick, right? In this video, I need you guys to really pay attention and listen to what I'm saying. Out of all sports, NBA players does have a sense of entitlement, and these guys spoil you, and a lot of stuff is given to them real early. I spoke to a few NFL players. Like I said, I've been in clubs, not that I'm friends with them, but I've been in a lot of clubs and through my time when we talk. You get cool with people. The VIP section sometimes be right next to each other, and you kick it sometimes. But anyway, you get this sense about them. A lot of them definitely feel they wish they was an NBA player. A situation with guaranteed contracts. And a lot of NBA players, some of them don't play hard, some of them don't really care about the game. And the media give these players labels that these guys don't deserve. A lot of stuff get handed to these guys. They quick to say play is great. I remember Jerry West years ago said he hate that they use that word great loosely, and they do. They use it loosely. A guy could be in the league 2 or 3 years, and you call him great. You call him a superstar, and all these things in one, and he ain't been in the league long enough. You have to be. It's different levels to this. You have. He's a good player. What's wrong with saying he's a good player? He's a mediocre player. He's not so good. He's a star. He's an all-star. He's a superstar. He's a Hall of Famer. What is wrong with saying these things to the right proper person at the right proper time? I heard 3 years ago they were saying James Harden, a Hall of Fame player. And I just think that the Hall of Fame should be something real precious, real hard to get in. It shouldn't just be about what you do in the regular season. Your postseason should matter. And what you did in college shouldn't have nothing to do with it. Ralph Sampson got in the N.B.A. Hall of Fame because they saying his college career. And same with like Bill Walton. What you did in college should not have anything to do on a professional level. It says, they say, it's Pro Basketball Hall of Fame. And what you did overseas shouldn't have, if you have like them guys, like for instance, like Divac and Sabonis, what they've done over there in their country, it shouldn't have nothing. It should just be strictly, I just think it should be changed in the NBA in the whole. I wish I could sit there and just talk to some of these, Adam Silver, somebody. It should be a change. It should be NBA Hall. It should be strictly basketball. Now, you could add on some accolades to it. It shouldn't be N or B all. If you like somebody, if you want to, put it credit, 3-time Olympian, if you want to say that. But it should be NBA Hall of Fame. What you done in college shouldn't matter. Your overseas career shouldn't have anything to do with it. None of that. They quick. They labeled Draymond Green Hall of Fame. How? How? Hall of Fame. It should be. Both should matter. It should matter the work you put in the regular season, the work you put in the playoffs. Longevity should definitely be a major criteria. A major criteria. I think you should be as a player. You should play at least 9 years at a high level. 9 years. My criteria would be 9 years at a super high level. You should have made a fleet of all-star games. You should be one of the best players your position. It should be a lot of different things. A lot of guys in championships should matter, and what you've done in the postseason should matter. And I feel, the guy been in the league, not like they say, they don't even say projection. They saying like if a guy just, God forbid, getting a bad car accident, anything, motorcycle accident, his career over right now, he's a Hall of Famer. I just think that shouldn't always be. I heard them say Paul George a Hall of Famer. I heard them say James Harden Hall of Famer, Russell Hall of Famer. And a lot of these guys come up small year after year. I hear them call people great players all the time. Superstars. They saying Jason Tatum is a superstar already. It shouldn't be that. Let these guys earn it. It should be a superstar level. You should have done it. To be a superstar, I think it should be a lot of criteria. One, how big media wise and presence, like for instance, like a Luca. Luca is like big, a face of a franchise. He make people better. He clutch. He do a lot of things. He definitely close to a superstar. To me, he right now the closest thing to superstar. But I can't give him that yet because he didn't do it in enough. He did it this postseason, but he had to continue. It should at least be. Uh, it would have more honor if, let's say, if he do it 5 more years. He's only 21. 5 straight years. He did this year. 5 more years on top of that be 6 years. And then he'd be proclaimed as a superstar. But he has a rock star presence already. He has a marketable presence. Everything, he has it. I just think just because you scored 20 points and you don't make teammates better like Harden, he shouldn't be a superstar. He shouldn't be a superstar. Harden to me is not a superstar. Giannis is not a superstar right now. These guys, and even like to Kawhi, to a sense, if you really think AD, a lot of these guys didn't do it because the playoffs should matter. That's what they're getting paid for. There's nothing wrong with saying these guys all-star. They tremendously good players. But to see great, it should be a certain room, a certain level of where a small room where it's great. And guys should have done it at a long, long period of time. Like right now, Chris Paul to end his career, you say he'll Hall of Famer, I'll have no issues with that. But guys who still in the meat of their career and you just call them Hall of Famers just because they put up great numbers and the numbers may be historical, it shouldn't matter. I just think the media is very irresponsible when it comes to that. And that's why these players think they better than what they is. They really do. These players, they hear this. They see the press. Oh, I'm a star. I'm a star player. He a great player. They hear the people calling him great. Just say he a good player. That's it. He's a good player. Ben Simmons. Oh, they got a superstar in Ben Simmons. How? How Ben Simmons a superstar? You know what I'm saying? You got superstars in the league. Also, no, they need to stop that. And these players, they be spoiled and there's someone something like like Giannis, how can you be a superstar? You unfollow your team and you play games. You shouldn't have to play games to get your organization like that. If you've been this is another thing I hate. Giannis been with the Bucks. I can't since 2013. You've been with the Bucks all these years, so you get to know these people. You shouldn't have to play these games. Like I know they saying LeBron started that with, you're supposed to put pressure on your franchise. But what I don't like what the media did, someone Giannis got bumped. He said he's coming back to Milwaukee. The media got on him about that, saying he's stupid, that he shouldn't have never tipped his hand, talk about he going back. He need to put pressure on management. He shouldn't have to do all that craziness. He could say he coming back and let management know, listen, this should already been on the same page already. You know when a person on the same page as you already. It shouldn't have to come you losing to see if they on the same page as you. That's the mistake these analysts make, and they poison these little kids, these young kids growing up the same way. It bothers me because the kids they watching, and the first thing someone a team lose, and the so-called star player, he should leave because he in the small market team. He should leave. He don't got no help. Like you poison these people's heads, and it's not right. You're doing it. You basically what you gonna say with Zion? If Zion the same situation, he should leave to go to a big market because the team ain't. Sometimes trades and everything, things ain't always easy to do. Everything ain't always easy to do. So I just think it's bad. You set a bad trap for these kids who watching, and it's bad. Like I said, you've been with the team since 2013. That's like you've been with your wife, girlfriend. You should know her inside out. Giannis should know the owner. He should know the general manager, the coach. It shouldn't have to come to this. You should always want to get better, win or lose. The Lakers win championship right now. I still want Danny Green and a couple other guys out of there. I want them to get better. And that's what they should do, get better. You don't be like, oh, we're going to run it back to the same team. No. If your team was flawed and you had a lot of holes and a lot of issues, you should always want to get better. So it shouldn't have nothing to do with him winning or losing. And the way you lose. So, you know what I'm saying? You just have to not build your team, your organization. Y'all just have to be on the same page. And these players feed into that. They feed into that. Like I said, they feel a sense of entitlement. They think they better than what theirs. Like, for instance, the Clippers. The Clippers been since, let's say, since Vegas. Lou Williams and Patrick Beverly said the prices went up. They were celebrating when they got Paul George, talk about don't talk to us. And then, you guys, y'all probably can look it up. It was Montrezl Harrell, Patrick Beverly, and Lou Williams. And Lou Williams said, yo, it's crazy. Yo, we win a championship. We may be the first team in history to get booed in our own parade. Like, they carried it, they walked it, and then they mocked the Lakers, everything, even the trade deadline. And the media feeding into it. When it was rumors that the Lakers wanted Marcus Morris from the Knicks, and the Clippers jumped and got him traded, Mo Harkless and a first-round pick, and Jerome Robinson. Oh, even one of the players, I can't remember who it was, on the Clippers. They said on I don't know, Instagram or Twitter, I remember seeing it. They said, we out here playing chess, not checkers. Right after the Marcus Morris trade. And then they felt that then the Lakers supposed to have wanted Reggie Jackson, and he signed with the Clippers. They've been laughing and mocking the Lakers the whole time, and like they won something. Like, to me, that's why it falls on Doc Rivers, because as y'all didn't win anything. Y'all ain't win anything. They was walking around carrying stuff. The load management. Doc Rivers not one time said anything about nothing. Doc Rivers been overrated. I've been saying this from the gate. And what bothers me, I remember when Denver was down 3-1 to Utah. Now I remember Stephen A. Smith and a couple people said, you know, they was like, you know, oh, sweat, like, you know, what can happen if Denver lose tonight? What could happen to Mike Malone? Like, it's all right when you say to all these other coaches, when it comes to Doc, I don't know, you know, he's a nice guy and this and that. That's why sometimes there'd be a lot of bias with the media, and it's hard sometimes to listen to them. Like Skip today I think was Skip Bayless' worst day. The excuses and stuff he was saying, it didn't make any sense. It was embarrassing. I know he probably looked back and like I made a fool out of myself. He'd have been better off like Max Kettleman and sat there and said, hey, you right. At least Max Kettleman went, gentlemen, like, yo, you right, I was wrong. He sat there and tried to blame it on Lou Williams, said Lou Williams is a closer. Everybody knows Skip love closer. If you not considered a closer, he don't really like you. If you don't consider being a clutch and a closer. Like, it was just embarrassing today. Like, and Nick Wright was spot on all day. Today was one of the days I really started digging Nick Wright. He did a great job, like, breaking down even before this. And like I said, Doc Rivers, as a coach, he didn't do anything. He ain't shut his team up. They were doing a lot of chirping the whole time. The commercial with Kawhi talk about he taking over LA, the king, and they, you know, putting crowns and doing stuff like that. Like, it was unnecessary. You guys ain't win anything. And then Paul George, the embarrassing part to sit there and say, we all feel that this wasn't a championship or bust season. But then Lou Williams' press conference, he said it was. Like, y'all just all over the place. And like I said, it's bad because the media is definitely, you could blame some with the media too. You definitely could blame some with the media also, because they condone that bullshit. The media condone it and they uphold and they laugh and they take it. But at the end of the day, the media, I think everybody talk about the kids, the future. You should really break down games and say do things the right way. You know, things get earned to you. You know, like I said, it was just bad. It's bad, and I think that, like I said, Doc Rivers. To me, I think Doc Rivers' biggest strength is the players like him, and he's probably a motivator. That's the X and O's. He's garbage. He's garbage. Because if you got the key to a playoff series, if you got two guys, supposed to be two guys who can get you 30, and Paul George and Kawhi Leonard, they play both ends, the offensive side, the defensive side. In a playoff game, a possession by possession game. You didn't need Montrez and Lou Williams too. Two more guys who want the ball. That right there didn't make any sense. Where they think they better than what they is, they average damn near 20 points. So they feel when the ball get to their hand, they looking to score. All with what he's supposed to do is surround them with the best defensive guys they had. You supposed to have, instead of Montrez, you should have had Zubac in there at center. And I would have had Jermichael Green because he know his role. He gonna play his role. He gonna make the extra pass. And you should have had Landry Shamet out there. Because if you look at it, you could have had Shamet guarding Gary Harris. Shamet ain't the strongest defensive player, but Gary Harris is not the strongest offensive player. So that matchup wouldn't hurt you. And then you could have had Kawhi Paul George on Murray and Zubac on Joker. And then the rest, your role players, the Jermichael Greens, that's how you're supposed to play the game. This way, every possession, either Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, going to make a play. Kawhi get the ball, if Paul George get the ball, if they don't have it, they kick out. Landry Shamet, he's staying right there. He a spot up shooter, he gonna shoot. Jermichael Green, spot up, he don't shoot. You drop the ball into Zubac, he don't miss layups. He got good hands, and he good at scoring around the basket. That's how you're supposed to play it. You ain't supposed to have no Lou Williams and Patrick, them guys in like that. Patrick Beverly, he high-headed. He played sometimes overly aggressive. He don't shoot good as Landry and Shamet. And having Montrez out there, for what? Joker was killing him. And another thing, what they did wrong, if you bat on against the Lakers, you're trying to be like, you should have had rim protection. You didn't need Markieff Morris. You had Patrick Patterson and Jermichael Green. What did you need Marcus Morris for? You don't spend the first round pick and Mo Harkless. You know, that's what I said. Everything was bad what they did. And I'm not just saying because they lost, and sometimes it's easy to point these things out. But the Doc didn't make no adjustments. And it was bad. Like I said, he's not a good coach. He's not. He's just not. And I hope next year, when next year comes, I hope when they do the rankings, the top 50 basketball players in the league, the top 10 coaches in the league, I hope they make adjustments with this. I hope that Harden don't be in the top like that. I hope that Paul George don't be where he normally be positioned at. Automatically, I'm just telling you, 3 players automatically should definitely jump up front of Paul George. Jason Tatum, Brandon Ingram, and Jaylen Brown. You should definitely rate them, because you have to look at it like this. Forget Paul George. I don't want to hear about his ability. I don't want to hear about things he's done in the past. What he do in the playoffs should matter. I understand Ingram didn't play a playoff game, but do like you do everything else, projected. His projection. Jalen Brown, they played. They Jason Tatum playing good in the play. Jalen Brown, they also play good in the play. You should rate them guys over him. They should. All three of them guys, I think, should be rated over Paul George. Certain guys should be over Westbrook. You had to. These guys over Harden. Harden should not be considered a top 5 player in the league if he's not producing. Giannis needs to take some steps back. Jimmy Butler need to move up. I think it's fair to say you might should be able to put Jimmy Butler in front of James Harden. I think that'd be fair. This way, you giving these guys Jimmy Butler bust his ass. Don't keep looking at the 30s and 40s he be Harden doing a regular season. Do a whole thing, the leadership. Them guys show no leadership, man. Russ, no leadership. Harden, no leadership. Kawhi, no leadership. Paul George, no leadership. Giannis, no leadership. You know, them guys show no leadership. And so I think leadership should be part of a great player, superstar, Hall of Fame caliber. That should matters. It should matters. So like I said, need you guys subscribe, hit that like button. The media is bad, man. It's bad.